Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. So this is taken from a normal game, and I'm going to be playing a slightly different team composition here. One of the team compositions that I don't think I featured on video at any point in time, even though it has been a popular team composition here in set 7.5. This is going to be a game that opens up with me playing a bunch of Bruisers, and then we're going to transition from there into the Shi Oh Yu plus Sy'fen combination that I've heard most frequently called Soy'Fen, taking Shi Oh Yu and abbreviating it SOY for soy, and then Sy'fen, so you put them together, you get Soy'Fen. And it's been around for a good portion of the set. I'd say it's been around for at least half the set. We're getting closer to the end of the set. And I have played this team composition in a couple games, but I didn't really get any footage that I particularly cared for until I was able to do this game. So we'll talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of that team, how to build it, and go from there. Now, the specific impetus for this game is I was trying to unlock one of the final, I think it was the last pass reward for the TFT set pass that they put out every time that there's a set. And there's always different objectives that you get right when the set starts. They give you the experience points, the XP for the pass. And over the course of playing this set, I had unlocked all of them, except one of them, which was play 6 Bruisers in a game. And I had not done that, and I was trying to finish up getting the final pass rewards. There is a stage that you get if you unlock all the content. It's the last thing you unlock, and I think I needed, I don't know, like 3,000 more XP. And anyway, playing 6 Bruisers was worth 800 XP. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play a normal game. I'm just going to force 6 Bruisers. It's easy to do. You literally just play every single Bruiser, and that's 6 Bruisers because there's 6 of them here in set 7.5. So that was my goal. I'm going to play into 6 Bruisers. And then I'm going to transition from there into the meta team composition that makes the most sense if you're playing a whole bunch of Bruisers, which is the Shi Oh Yu plus Sy'fen combination. So that's our goal. That's what we're going to be working towards in this game. Now, of course, I could just throw the game away. I could just say, oh, I'm going to get 6 Bruisers in and then just, escape, quit the game after that. But I'm not going to do that. That's not the way I'm looking to play things. Anyway, this is also going to be interesting because we get a prismatic entry. And normally I would just take Guild Crown here and I just play a guild game. I'd play into like Guild plus Zaya would be my goal. But no, I don't want to do that. I'm doing this Bruiser thing. So out of these options, I was like, it's not Cruel Pact. I hate taking that. I've never taken that one before. It's not going to be the Shapeshifter Soul. I don't think that works. I'd have to play into 4 Shapeshifters. So I just take the generic option, which is Electro Charge. And the good news is I'm able to find an Olaf in that last orb. So now I actually have a Bruiser that I can kind of play through, which is good. I had been picking up Swift Shot units. I was just going to run like Ezreal plus Twitch for like backline damage. But I'm able to get something much better is I'm able to find this Olaf. So I was like, all right, well, again, if this was not, if I wasn't playing this Bruiser setup, I'd probably just look to play into Olaf here. Now that I've made the decision, now that I didn't take the Guild Crown, which is what I would have taken, now I would just go into Olaf. But again, no, not going to go for Olaf, because if I'm reeling for Olaf, it's going to be tricky to get up to the 6 Bruisers. I mean, I guess I could do it, but not going to head down that route either. What I am going to do is use Olaf as my item holder, and this is typically what people will do if they want to play into the Shi Oh Yu plus Sy'fen team combination. Olaf is actually a really good item holder for this setup because his itemization is extremely similar to both of those dragons. So I'll be able to give him just kind of standard melee AD items. That's what you're building towards this comp. One of the biggest issues with this comp is you need a lot of sword items. Almost all the stuff you want to build builds out of swords. So like Bloodthirster is good, Hand of Justice is good, Edge of Night is very good. Edge of Night's one of the most important items you can get. You can always get something like Infinity Edge just to multiply your damage. It's not a crucial item, but it's not terrible. Titan's Resolve. Basically, all the stuff you put on melee AD carries is going to be good for this setup. And those are all items that Olaf wants as well. About the only thing that you wouldn't want is you don't really want like Hurricane, which is a very good item on Olaf. That's not going to be as good on Shi Oh Yu and Sy'fen, but pretty much anything else that you would want to put on Olaf is going to be reasonably good on them. I guess Rapid Fire Cannon would not be so great either, but almost just about anything that you could put on Olaf is going to be reasonably effective on those units as well. So enough about the augments I didn't pick. Let's spend a minute here on the augments I did pick. So I used my reroll. If the first augment is prismatic, it is very worthwhile to use your reroll if you don't like the options you're getting, just because you're going to have that prismatic augment for the entire game, and there's an awful lot of power in the prismatic augments. So I've ended up with Electro Charge. This is one of the common generic augments. It does not play into any one specific team composition. You will probably see people taking this a lot. Electrocharge means that whenever your units are struck by a critical strike on the enemy team, then it deals reflected electric damage. This is, I believe, similar to how the electric trait worked back in like set 2. I don't think it was tied to critical strikes, but I think it was just purely random at that point in time. But you get the idea. It is a tank trait. You deal damage by having other people hit your units, and when they critically strike, they will get that reflected electricity damage, and you can see the electricity pop up on the screen. There's a little graphical indicator. So it turns out that there are some interesting things to the way that you would want to play this augment. It is much better early game than late game. It actually falls off pretty hard in the late game, but it's quite strong in the early game. You can see I'm win streaking here, even though my board is not especially strong, and that's because those electric procs are very, very powerful in the early game. Now, they do get stronger as the game goes on. The damage does go up by stage. I don't have the exact damage it does in front of me, but it starts out at, I think it's like 100-ish damage, and then it goes up to like 300-ish. Those are not the exact numbers, something like that, but it does go up each stage. That said, the flat damage is still more significant in the early game. It scales up over time, but it does not scale up as high as quickly as like damage goes up and tankiness goes up and units get stronger. So it is an early game augment that will fall off with time. By the way, I'll get back to this point in a second, but I do have to take an item here off the carousel. There's actually 3 of us with 100 HP, so I want to get something to pair with these Olaf items. Nothing here is going to pair especially well with that sword. I guess I could make Edge of Night, but I don't want to make Edge of Night this early. It's a little bit better in the late game. So I'm going to take this vest, and I'm going to combine it with the bow and make Titan's Resolve. It's a good item on Olaf. It's a very good item on units like Shi Oh Yu and Sy'fen. I'll have to put it on one of them, but yeah, they can both make good use of that. And then I'm going to toss in the Lilia because she makes both Cavalier trait with that 2-star Sejuani and also puts Scale Scorn trait in for Olaf. So we're playing through Olaf at the moment, and we've got Bruiser trait in for him. We've got Scale Scorn trait in. We do not have Warrior trait in for him, which is his last trait. Or do we have Warrior? No, we do have Warrior trait in as well because we've got Yone on the board. So we actually have all 3 of his traits active, and that's part of the reason why this comp's being pretty effective so far. All right, to get back to my point from earlier, though, so we've got Electrocharge Augment. Whenever people hit us with critical strikes, we get those electric procs. So how do you make the best use of this? Well, because this is an ability where you have to get hit for the damage to function, it inherently works really well with tanky teams. So like if you're going to take this augment, you want to try to build into a tanky setup if at all possible. By the way, you see me very narrowly winning against this Shimmer Scale player, so that's great news. That person was on full win streak. So it kind of synergizes very well if you have a tank team. So you can, of course, go the Guardian route. That's probably the best way to make use of it. Play like 4 Guardians, play Ezreal reroll behind 4 Guardians or something, and you have a great fit there. I'm not going that route in this game, but I am going something that actually works reasonably well too, and that is to go into heavy on Bruisers. So what do Bruisers get? They get additional health. That means they're going to be tankier. So the more health my units have, the longer it takes to kill them, the more opportunities for that electricity to proc and deal damage back to them in the process. So the fact that I'm going with like this plan to play into a whole bunch of Bruisers and then play into Tank Dragons, it's actually going to be quite good throughout the early and mid game. And then in the late game, it's not going to do that much for me. But, you know, out of the options I had, I think that this was the best option available out of the various choices that was offered to me. I would have much rather taken something like +1 team size. I always like that one, even though statistically it's kind of mediocre. I would have loved to have gotten something with dragons. I don't think you can get offered them very early in the game, but that would have been nice. I would have loved to have gotten even something like Celestial Blessing 3, then I could have focused on itemizing damage instead of itemizing lifesteal, because you definitely need lifesteal if you're going to be playing into these melee dragons. But, you know, out of the options I had, I do think Electrocharge was the best option. And hey, it's helped me to win streak all the way through stage 2. So it's probably paid for itself just on the basis of this win streak. The fact that I'm full win streak, 5 rounds, 30 gold in the bank. I'm quite rich for this stage in the game, and even though I'm not going to play into Olaf long term, I will deliberately try to farm a death stack on Olaf here, because for the moment, he is my carry, even though I plan to move out of Olaf later on. I believe there's someone else playing Olaf in this lobby too. I'd have to look back at this game. It's been a couple days since I played this one until I had time to go around to recording it, but I think there is someone who's actually re-rolling for Olaf in this lobby, so that was also a sign that no, I don't want to stay around here and try to play 3-star Olaf. All right, well, look what I'm going to get here. I'm going to get another sword, and, you know, I wasn't trying to make Edge of Night early on, But I decide, you know what? Since I've got the spare sword here to burn, I'll go ahead and make Edge of Night, and it's going to be very good on probably Shi Oh Yu later on. I think that's the unit that I'm looking for. I also find a Silas, so that is another unit towards my Bruiser setup. Let's go ahead and make Edge of Night, and then we'll place that other sword on Olaf. So we've only found one Olaf. We do not have Olaf 2-star. But, you know, the items I do have on Olaf are pretty good. I don't think I would make Edge of Night on Olaf if he was going to be my long-term carry, but these are certainly not bad items on him. We're playing through all of his traits, and I'm going to toss Silas on the board because why not? I'm on full win streak. Let's see if we can keep win streaking as long as possible. If playing another unit allows me to keep win streaking, it's absolutely worthwhile to drop down to 22 gold. And it does not make any additional traits. That's a little bit unfortunate. I had actually picked up a Leona as well because I had the possibility of getting the Mirage trait in play for Yone. I believe the Mirage trait is Dawnbringer in this lobby. I could be wrong. But ultimately, I sold that unit to get to an income breakpoint. I think I had to sell that unit to get to 30 gold. So I'm just playing the Silas because why not? You know, he will still get the double health benefit from being a Bruiser, even though he brings no traits onto the game himself. Anyway, though, we won that round pretty easily, so I'm still on full win streak, and that's great. I'm continuing to make more money. And then, oh, tough call here. Do I want Celestial Blessing or Second Wind? I really had to think about this. I was like, all right, I'm going to go with Celestial Blessing. In retrospect, I wish that I had taken the Second Wind, and that's because ultimately I was able to get quite a bit of lifesteal on my team. But as of this point in time, I had no lifesteal items. I had no Bloodthirster. I had no Hand of Justice. So as of this point in time, I think it was the right decision to take Celestial Blessing, so I'd get a little healing. But later on, I was able to itemize healing items anyway, so Celestial Blessing ended up not being all that amazing, whereas Second Wind actually would have been pretty useful because, again, I'm playing Bruisers. Bruisers get extra health. Let me go ahead and read the description for Bruiser trait just while we've got a minute here. Now, Bruiser's been around in a bunch of different sets. This is a very common trait in Teamfight Tactics. It was also very popular in the first half of the set, in set 7. Not as popular here in set 7.5. Anyway, Bruiser, your trait gains bonus maximum. Your team gains bonus maximum health. Bruisers gain double this bonus. Right now, Bruiser 2 is 180 health. Bruiser 4 is 350. Bruiser 6 is 600 health. And the Bruisers themselves get double that benefit. Now, for this fight, the hope is, can we kill this Yone? Yone is doing an awful lot of damage, but he is, you know, dealing quite a few crits because he does have a crit item. He has a Last Whisper, so that does give you additional critical strike chance, and he eventually kills himself on the Bruisers. So we're able to win another round, and I'm pretty happy with that. I am concerned that one of these people is playing Shimmer Scale. They actually have double Shimmer Scale items, or excuse me, double Shimmer Scale emblems, which means they'll be able to go 9 Shimmer Scale eventually. So that's a little bit scary, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. They're just going to be very rich, and assuredly at some point they'll hit 9 Shimmer Scale, and they'll be able to start playing the Crown of Champions. So that's going to be pretty scary. Also, that person who just took Tiny Titans for Dragon Mancer with a Volibear holding those items, that Volibear looks pretty strong in this lobby. Actually, yeah, a couple people playing some Scale Scorn stuff, so I'm glad that I'm not looking to 3-star Olaf. I've only found one Olaf the entire game, so I'm not exactly close to hitting these Olafs. Anyway, the big question is, how long can this win streak last? I am hitting some 2-stars. I was able to hit 2-star Yone. I was able to hit 2-star Lilia. They're not super important units for this team composition, but of course, by starring up, they get additional health, they get additional base stats, their abilities deal more damage. In this fight, fortunately, we're able to get on the Volibear, who had pretty good itemization, but was only a 1-star unit. And I think he killed himself with reflected damage off the Electrocharge. So far, 8 rounds in, I'm playing this weirdo Bruiser build. Although I actually don't have that many Bruisers in thus far, but that's why I'm holding the Skarners so I can put Skarner into play 6 Bruisers later. But so far, it's full win streak, and I cannot complain about my setup thus far. Definitely going according to form. All right, so now I'm looking to pair another item with that sword on Olaf. I actually would have taken the cloak, but that gets grabbed pretty quickly there. So out of these other items, let's see, what else could we make here? I guess I could make Giant Slayer or Infinity Edge. I don't think those are quite the right items there I want. So the other option is to try to pair something with this tier. And out of the options available, there is a glove there. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and take this. I don't have a ton of uses for tiers in the team composition I'm building towards. About the only thing I can really do is make Hand of Justice. So let's go ahead and do that. And I will slap this item on someone who can use it. Now, long term, this is probably going to go on probably Soy'Fen, just because I think I already have some items for Shi Oh Yu. But for the moment, the only person who could realistically use this is Yone, and it's a pretty decent item on him as well. So because I'm trying to win streak here, I'm going to go ahead and level to level 7. This will also increase my odds to start finding Shi Oh Yu and Sy'fen, were the units I'm intending to play towards. And it does get me up to 4 Bruisers, so it's going to mean extra health for everybody. All right, this is the other person who's win streaking, so this is an extremely important round. Whoever wins this round is going to have a lot more money than the person who loses it. So I'm hoping that going to level 7 is going to make the difference here. Olaf's going to path over there to the right on Kaisai. I actually kind of wish he had gone over to the Volibear a little bit sooner. All right, now the good news is Volibear has no healing. The bad news is he has an awful lot of health. Do we have enough health to finish him off? It's close, Olaf. Oh, man. Pretty close. I guess he still had about a couple hundred left. Do I right-click on him here to see how much he had? I think he had like 200 or 300 health left. So that's disappointing. And now that person was able to keep their win streak going. So I went to 7 in the hopes of preserving win streak. I do think it was the correct decision to do that, but unfortunately did not pay off. I mean, I'm still in good shape in this game, but it would have made a big difference to keep winning that round. And unfortunately, I do end up coming up a little bit short there. All right, well, back to the grind. Still getting there. It's a bit of a shame that these dragons in my store, I've got a Swain and an Idis. If that had been a Shi Oh Yu and a Sy'fen, I would have been like, ah, wow, we're in business now. I also do still have to find the one remaining Bruiser, and that's Malphite. I have not seen Malphite this entire game, so Malphite, please show up in the store. The odds to find you are actually going down round by round because I'm getting to higher levels, and that decreases my odds of finding the one-cost units. So I'm a little disappointed that I haven't seen a Malphite yet. I need to find Malphite, and then I need to find Sy'fen, and then I will be able to have 6 Bruisers. I only need to play it for 1 round. If I can play it for 1 round, I'll get the objective done. I'll get that sweet pass XP that'll get me closer to finishing the battle pass for this this particular split, or this particular set. And then I can go back to playing a more normal board. So I have to hold these Skarners until that happens. And I'm probably not going to play... I don't know. I'm probably not going to play Jax long-term either, but we will see. All right, there's another Olaf finally. I will pick up the Olafs. I do actually have to play Olaf long-term in this comp. So Olaf in the Shi Oh Yu Sy'fen comp is basically a trait bot. He does not really do much of anything other than just provide Bruiser trait and Warrior trait. And what's his other trait again? Well, Scale Scorn is not typically played in that comp. Also, I'm a little bit not paying attention here. I could farm a death stack on Olaf here as well. I just need to put him where Skarner is. He might actually still survive because he has Edge of Night to drop aggression, but I could have at least tried to go for that. And then I'm just going to sell the board here to see what I can get. Oh, look at this. I've got the odds. Now I can make another Titans, or I could look to make... I do find a Shi Oh Yu, so I'm going to hold that unit for right now. I can make another Titans, or I could look to make Giant Slayer. I actually think that I end up making another Titans here. So I'll have a Titans on Shi Oh Yu and a Titans on Sy'fen. The Titans is not as good on Sy'fen just because Sy'fen doesn't attack as much, but it's still not a bad item on Sy'fen. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play the Shi Oh Yu. I think that that's better than playing 4 Bruisers here. The Silas and the Skarner are not really doing a whole lot, so we'll just put Jade trait in play. Kind of awkwardly at 4 Jade, but still going to look to play that. And yeah, I'm going to be happy with that. So I pretty much have Shi Oh Yu almost fully itemized. I've got Edge of Night Titans. Now I need to find something to pair with that sword. I guess I could make another Edge of Night, but I'm not sure that I need 2 Edge of Nights. I guess it's not terrible, but Edge of Night's definitely better on Shi Oh Yu than it is on Sy'fen. Sy'fen charges around the board anyway. All right, this is another close fight, but we're going to be able to win this one. Very nice. That person is going to spike in strength soon. Well, I was going to say that person will spike in strength soon, but they're actually on level 7, 0 gold, so they might not actually hit their Rengar anytime soon. In any case, we're just trying to get to level 8, and then we're going to roll an 8 a good bit and see if we can hit our board. All right, out of these options, the clear choice is Knife's Edge. Knife's Edge is going to make all the units that are played the first 2 rows gain additional attack damage. It's actually quite a lot of additional attack damage. So that's going to be great for Shi Oh Yu. It's going to be great for Sy'fen. They're going to be played up on the front lines anyway, so they won't be losing anything. I also managed to hit 2-star Silas, so we'll just hold that unit for right now. I can opt to play Silas in this team competition long term. Normally, you would look to play Pantheon instead, but I do already have a 2-star Silas, so I might just hold Silas anyway and play more Bruisers. We'll have to see what we end up hitting here. Anyway, though, so again, I'm just looking to econ here. I'm probably going to go to level 8 after the carousel on stage 4 or 5. And just looking to econ in there for as long as possible. There is someone who has a shroud kind of pointed at my team, so I'm going to need to try and dodge that. Fortunately, I did not hit them in this particular round. That's good news. All right, anyway, I am up against someone who is playing a Seraphine team composition. Looks like they took a Radiant Infinity Edge, which is a pretty strong item there. So we'll have to see what they do. I suspect that that is for our Graves long term. They also have Prismatic Preparation for their augment. That is pretty bad because that's a very, very good augment. If you're playing the Seraphine comp, it's considered to be kind of the best item, the best augment you can get for that. Good news is Zyra tossed her ult at nothing in this round, so we were able to just dodge Zyra's ultimate and step up and avoid the CC. And then I hit 2-star Skarner as well. So I was like, all right, well, if I have 2-star Skarner and 2-star Sylas, I think it's better to play both of them than to play this 1-star Shi Oh Yu. So we'll just go back up to 4 Bruisers again. Then I need to reposition a little bit here. Remember, I do still have Electro Charge, so I still get Electro Charge value. And I need to play everybody in the front 2 rows so they can get that nice edge augment value as well. So kind of weird positioning here. a bit of a strange game with the prismatic augments, but this has been a fun one. I guess I should have just kept Sylas up in the front rows. I think I had put him in the back row to try and absorb some assassins. But I don't think that I ended up hitting an assassin in this round. So he just wastes a couple seconds pathfinding up to the front row, and that's kind of a waste of time. Anyway, this person has hit 3-star Lux, and they're playing an Astral board here. So the question is, can we kill the front line fast enough to get on the back line and get over to that Lux? This person also has a Sunfire Cape, which is cutting into our healing to some extent. Still, I've got my whole team alive, so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to win this fight. The only question is, can we actually get on the Lux? All of my units are melee, so it's like, oh no, Olaf is just standing there doing nothing in the back. A little bit unfortunate that he did not get in the back earlier. So yeah, the fact that my whole team's melee units kind of ends up costing me that round there because only like 2 of them could hit the Lux at a time. So that's a bit of a disappointing loss, but well, is what it is. Well, I'm still looking to finish itemizing these 2 dragons, so I'm kind of looking for a cloak here because that would be a Bloodthirster, and I'd be pretty happy with that. There's also a cloak on Anila, so that's a 4 gold champion. And it looks like nobody wants that. There's only one other person who could potentially take that. And no, they don't want that. So, all right, pretty happy with these items. I'm going to have 1 Bloodthirster and 1 Hand of Justice. So both of these items can be placed on my melee dragon. So I've actually got really good itemization for these 2 dragons. They're both going to have very strong stuff. All right, now it's time to go 8 and roll and see if we can hit some of these. So I need to find Soy'Fen in particular. There's a Malphite, so that gets us the Malphite we're looking for. There's another Shi Oh Yu. There's a Bard. I probably should have snapped up the Bard. There's also a Yasuo. Can potentially play that. I'm really looking for Soy'Fen right now. I'm going to pick up an Olaf because remember, I'm going to have to sell and replace Olaf. And then at this point, I'm like, well, I didn't find Soy'Fen and I went down to 10 gold. That's a little unfortunate. At least I hit 2 out of 3 Shi Oh Yus, but still not exactly what I was looking for. And I've rotated around to hitting this person again. Remember this person who's playing the Volibear? And they're playing into Shimmer Scale stuff. So yeah, this board has been win streaking for quite a while. And I don't know that I have enough damage to finish this off. Yasuo actually gets off a great ult, but Volibear just dealing way too much damage. And this person's going to be insanely rich, or yeah, they're going to be super duper rich based on the fact that they've got all these Shimmer Scale items in. So they're both super strong and super rich. A very dangerous combination. 6 Shimmer Scale, 4 Dragon Mancer. That Volibear will fall off over time, but they should probably be able to transition into a more powerful unit. All right, there's Soy'Fen, though. So, all right, that's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to look to start transitioning this board. First of all, I need to have a round where I actually play these units. So we'll get these units on the board. I do need to play 6 Bruisers for 1 round. So I'm going to look to do that right now before any more time is wasted. I probably should have held Olaf for 1 more round here. So we need to get the 6 Bruisers in. There we go. Unfortunately, all my items are on the bench, so that's not great. And I'll just take this time. I'm basically just going to throw this round away while I look to itemize my units. All right, so I'm going to put Edge of Night on Shi Oh Yu. I'm going to put the Bloodthirster. I think in retrospect, this is slightly backwards. I think it should have been the Bloodthirster on Soy'Fen and the Hand of Justice on Shi Oh Yu. It's not a huge difference, but I think that it works out slightly better that way. I think the Bloodthirster is a little, just because the AP is a little bit better. Hand of Justice gives you a little ability power. The AP is a little bit better on Shi Oh Yu, and the Bloodthirster is slightly better on Soy'Fen because Soy'Fen gets extra health by virtue of being a Bruiser. If you get a whole bunch of health, you want the Bloodthirster because it gives you a percentage of max HP shield. When you drop, I think it's down to like 40% health. So I think those items are slightly backwards, but ultimately it's not a huge deal. They're both still going to have quite good itemization. And now we're going to look to see if we can find one final item for these 2 guys. All right, well, it is a Chaos Treasure Dragon. So I'm looking to find stuff. I'm trying to get items I can use. The Warrior Emblem I guess I could turn a unit into warrior. I guess that's a possibility. Tempest, no. Gold Collector early game, no. Cannoneer, no. I'm having to roll more than I want. Skill Scorn Emblem, no. Again, this is more than I really want to roll. Guardian Emblem's somewhat interesting, but no. And then I see this. There's a loaded dice and a champion duplicator. I was like, oh, okay. That's pretty interesting in terms of what I get. So I'm not going to get as much in terms of items, but I am going to get this stuff, which is pretty interesting. So let's see. I think I mostly have the board I want now, but let's put Yasuo on the board. That's got to be better than what's the unit I'm looking for? Then Sejuani. Sejuani's not going to do anything at this stage of the game. So we're going to put these Jade statues here. I do want to get up to 2-star Soy'Fen if I can. Also going to put the targeting dummy. I've got a Quicksilver Sash, which is like, I don't think I want that for Soy'Fen. Now I'm looking for more Soy'Fens. I am going to find a Jackson here as well. And then I get Soraka. I was like, oh, Soraka gets me up to 5 Jade. I got to play that over I definitely want to play that over the Yasuo. So Yasuo's not terrible. I mean, Yasuo gives me another carry in this team composition. But it's not a terrible option. Oh, I guess I did put the Quicksilver Sash on Soy'Fen. Okay, that's really not an ideal last item for Soy'Fen. I probably could have done better there. So itemization for Shi Oh Yu is really good. For Soy'Fen, it's a little bit weaker. Now, keep in mind what I still have. I'm quite poor. I've kind of rolled all my gold. I'm actually up against the person playing the Crown of Champions this game. Thankfully, Olaf tanks the Crown of Champions proc there. And now I need to get back here. Oh, the Edge of Night. The Edge of Night caused me to dodge the Edge of Night on Shi Oh Yu caused me to dodge the Crown of Champions proc. It went on, I think, the Jade statue instead. So I actually ended up winning that fight, which I really did not expect to win. That's pretty hilarious. All right, well, anyway, look what I have here. I actually have 2 Shi Oh Yus on my bench. I've also got a champion duplicator, and in addition to that, I've got the loaded dice. So I really should be looking to play into Shi Oh Yu 3-star. That's the clear play, but for whatever reason, I just get antsy here, and I go for the Soy'Fen. I see that there's Soy'Fens in my store, and I sell this. This is a huge mistake. I had every opportunity in the world to play into Shi Oh Yu 3-star here. Like I said, I already had 5 of them. I had 68 HP, and I had both a champion duplicator and loaded dice. So I had really, really good odds to find Shi Oh Yu 3-star, and my items are excellent for Shi Oh Yu. So I should not have gotten so antsy there. There was no reason to sell those units. I could have just locked the store to pick up the Soy'Fen and then look to go from there. So now I have made my board a lot stronger. By hitting both of these units, by having 2-star versions of both of these dragons, my board has gotten much stronger. Like, I don't know if I win this round without that. I almost certainly lose that round without it. So I have spiked my comp in the short run, but I have made it weaker in the long run. And that's definitely an issue because remember that Chaos Dragon that we had there, other people got a whole bunch of items. I didn't really get that much in terms of items. What I got was the loaded dice and also the champion duplicator. And then I go ahead and do this. I actually burn the loaded dice on Soraka, which by the way was the correct decision. Soraka was the right person to use the loaded dice on because her only traits are Jade and Starcaller. So if I was looking for Shi Oh Yus, she was the right person to use the loaded dice on. So I find another Soraka, but then I burn the champion duplicator to hit Soraka 2-star, which again spikes my board super hard here in the short run. But I used up the champion duplicator. Like, I could have easily been on 6 Shi Oh Yus right now because I found one in the store. I could have been on 6 Shi Oh Yus right now with a champion duplicator, and then I'd only need to find 2 more the entire rest of the game for Shi Oh Yu 3-star. So part of the reason why I do these games or cast these games is I do like to look back and try to see like what I did right, what I did incorrectly. And in retrospect, this was just being way too impatient. There was no reason not to look to play for the 3-star dragon. So using the champion duplicator, I think, was a real mistake there. I have plenty of health. I did not need... I'm not on like 10 HP, and I need Soraka 2-star in order to get me more health back. I had plenty of health here. I could have just waited this out, been more patient, bought the Soraka in the store, and then looked to just find another Soraka naturally. But nope, didn't go that route. The road not traveled, so now I really have no realistic chance to hit the Shi Oh Yu 3-star, but I could have been on 6 of them right now with another champion duplicator in my back pocket, so almost certainly could have hit that unit, but oh well. Well, as far as what is going on, not the path not traveled here. Again, I did spike my board very hard in the short run. I also get something quite useful here. I find a Mystic Emblem, so that's going to allow me to put Mystic Trait in play. The Mystic Trait is coming from Shi Oh Yu because she has the Mystic Trait, one of her 3 traits that she gets. And then I'm just going to slap that on Soraka. So my board is actually very strong right now. Everything is 2-starred except the Olaf, who's just in there as a trait bot. We have 5 Jades. We get the double Jade statues. We also get the additional healing from them. 4 Whispers. So Silas and Soy'Fen are doing the armor shred. 4 Bruisers. So we've got an awful lot of health. And then we've got the Mystic trait in as well. So now the play is go to level 9 and play Bard, because Bard will get us up to 3 Mystic. And that's probably the best thing we can do to strengthen our board, since we're clearly not going to hit the 3-star versions of these dragons. Get to level 9, play Bard, 3 Mystic, and that's going to be our board. And as I said, I don't think we can really get much stronger than that. Anyway, so we're back. We've rotated back to this board with the Volibear again. They actually now have a Death's Dance on the Volibear, which is pretty funny. I really wish that Shi Oh Yu is hitting the Volibear instead of wasting all her time hitting this stupid Itis that's tanking. Yeah, it gets off so much tanking. Oh, all right, but now we're in overtime, so we definitely win this, right? And oh my God, you're kidding me? Oh my God, Volibear with 200 health wins that fight. Jesus, should have won that round. Oh well. So yeah, that person does end up winning, but that was just, fight RNG. The Shi Oh Yu got locked on the Itis for way too long. We are starting to lose players. So again, basically what I did strategically in this game is I made myself much stronger in the short run at the expense of weakening my board in the long run. Because my board did spike really, really hard here on stage 5. Everything's 2-starred except Olaf. I've got a 2-star Soraka. Remember, Soraka is healing me for 3 health every single round. That's my little legend, not my units. My actual little legend is healing by 3 HP every round. So basically what I've done is I've maximized my odds of top 4ing in this game at the cost of lowering the odds of outright winning the lobby. And this is something that I do pretty commonly. I'm always looking to play for the top 4. I am not a greedy player. I'm like a very conservative player by nature. I will take that top 4, give me that 2nd place finish, give me that 3rd place finish. I am perfectly content to increase my odds for a 2nd if that means decreasing my odds of a 1st. And that's really what this game has been in a nutshell. So I am putting pressure on the rest of the lobby. That's for real. And by the way, look at the Soraka healing in this fight. Pretty nice. I am putting pressure on the lobby, and that's not nothing. By not playing greedy economically, I am increasing the odds that I can knock some of these other players out of the game. So some of these boards are trying to scale up, but by me being so strong right now, it is, putting a lot of pressure on people that are weak. And I've actually already top 4'd in the lobby. The problem is there's a couple other people here who have quite a bit of health too. You might remember in this lobby that there were 3 of us that were at 90 HP, the middle of stage 3. So a couple of people went out very early, and now there's a bunch of us that still have an awful lot of health left. So I'm just going to try to hang in there as long as possible, because I recognize that my board is probably going to get outscaled by people that are going for 3-star units and people that are going to be playing into all dragon boards. Anyway, I get a redemption here, and that's actually not a terrible item. I do think I probably should have put it on Jax, though. I think Jax probably tanks a bit better than Silas. Then again, I like having Silas alive, not like having him alive longer in these fights, because the longer he's alive, the more he's applying Whisper's trait to the enemy team. Anyway, in this case, we're up against the Seraphine team comp this round. They have not managed to hit Seraphine 3-star yet, so I was thinking I'd probably win this fight. I'd probably lose once they hit Seraphine 3-star, because they are on 8 Seraphines right now. But I was pretty confident that I would win this fight right now, because they were still only on Seraphine 1-star. On Seraphine 2-star. They did not hit the 3-star version. Unfortunately, though, it's a disaster. The Graves on the enemy team focuses my Shi Oh Yu right at the start of the fight. And my Shi Oh Yu actually gets popped before Soraka can heal her. So I was like, that's a little bit unfortunate. I do think the fight RNG was slightly unlucky there. The fact that Graves just focused Shi Oh Yu so hard. So Shi Oh Yu basically did nothing in that fight. Got focused immediately and died without getting, I don't think she even got 1 rotation of her ult off. So that was a very bad outcome for me. I think I needed to win that fight against that person there before they managed to hit 3-star Seraphine, because they're surely going to hit their last Seraphine since they're on 8 of them. And I'm probably not going to beat them once that happens. So the board definitely scaled up and is going to be getting stronger, whereas I am kind of stagnant here until I can find Bard. I'm actually kind of hoping that the next carousel we have a carousel coming up in 2 stages. I'm kind of hoping that there'll be a Bard on that carousel. Anyway, I'm trying to position my team here so that I can get into the back lines. I believe this is the Astral board. No, this is back. Wow, this is back to that Volibear player again. So I'm trying to wrap around to hit the back lines and not get stuck on the Itis. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do at that, but I'm hoping my team will not get stuck and can actually get over to that Volibear. Of course, the Volibear is now 3-star. But, you know, Volibear does fall off as the game goes on as well, even as a 3-star unit. We also keep getting kicked back by Lee Sin, which is super duper annoying. At least Soy'Fen's popping around. Yeah, so we finally get through the Idis. So now can we take down the Volibear? Soraka, by the way, is doing incredible work in the backline there. Soraka is healing me for an insane amount in these fights. So anyway, we're going to go into overtime, and in overtime, healing is reduced. The Edge of Night kicks in. Edge of Night. Remember I said that's a really important item for Shi Oh Yu? Yeah, Edge of Night kicked in, Volibear walked off, stopped attacking Shi Oh Yu. That's going to allow me to win that fight. So, hey, not too bad. I will take it. Anyway, so I'm still trying to go to level 9, looking for Bard here. As I said, if I had been going for Shi Oh Yu 3-star, which is, I think, the path I should have taken in this game. By the way, that player is going to hit Seraphine 3-star, which is bad news for the rest of the lobby. If I had gone for Shi Oh Yu 3-star, the correct play would have been to stay at level 8 and roll at level 8. Not spend the 50, I think, what is it? It's like 8, oh, excuse me, not spend like the 80 gold to try to get to level 9. Would have been better to stay at level 8 and put that gold into re-rolling. Anyway, here I'm going to position the target dummy over on the right-hand side. My hope is that Lux will waste her time trying to hit the target dummy. I'm trying to overload the left-hand side in the hopes that I can get onto the backline carries, get on the Varus and get on the Lux right there. So we've actually gotten to the front line reasonably well. Come on, Soy'Fen, finish off the Varus. Finish. Oh, no. Oh, and this is the fight RNG. This is why Soy'Fen can be difficult to control sometimes. He's on the back line, he's hitting the Varus, and then he decides to charge off and hit the tank line in the front of the board again. Oh boy, that's not so great. And unfortunately now the Edge of Night's not going to do anything because there's no other units alive on the board for the enemy team to target. So, the crowd control there. Yeah, that's really sad. We got the Varus down so low. Got the Varus down to 10% health, and then Soy'Fen decided to charge away. So, not what we were looking for there. Still a close round, but not quite able to beat the Astral board. Now, remember how I said again, I could have gone for Shi Oh Yu 3-star? Yeah, there's another Shi Oh Yu on this carousel. So that could have been, even assuming zero Shi Oh Yus in the shop, which, let's face it, I would have seen at least one in the shop. That could have been number 7 there, and then I would have had the champion duplicator for 8. So I only needed to find one of them in the shop. Yeah, that probably would have been pretty good. And I think 3-star Shi Oh Yu probably is my ticket to winning this lobby. You can see how strong this unit is, even at 2-star. As I said, I've got great itemization for this unit. Just wish that I'd been able to play this game a little bit differently. So I actually think I've been playing the fights tactically pretty well. I think my positioning's been pretty good. It helps that I know who I'm up against in every single round. But, you know, there's only so much your boards can do. And, oh, yeah, remember how I didn't beat this team last time when the Seraphine was only 2-starred? Yeah, now she's 3-starred. She actually has a blue buff, which is not a great item on her. She uses Shojin much better than she uses blue buff. But she does have the most important item for her, which is the Morellos. Also, we were able to get in the backlines here, do reasonably well, but the Graves is still alive, so yeah. If we can't kill Graves, we're never winning this fight. I don't think that I ever beat anyone on this team. It's kind of a bad matchup for my comp. So, just as I've been playing the Shi Oh Yu Sy'fen, as I said, this is a board that gets outscaled in the late game. It's not especially strong late. It's more of a top 4 comp than a win the lobby comp, to be perfectly honest. Now I'm looking for Bard. I've gone level 9. Where is Bard? Ooh, not finding a lot of Bards here. I will play the Zoe as the best unit I can toss in. It's that or Yasuo. Yasuo would be better, but I didn't see another Yasuo there. And then look at this. Unfortunately, I'm up against the exact same comp again. I was like, what? Oh, man. Can't I be up against the Volibear comp? Or what's the other one? I think it's the Astral board. I actually think I do much better against that other board than this one. What I really need for this board is Bard. Bard will give me another rank of Mystic trait. Mystic would be really good against this comp because most of the damage is magic damage. Also, Bard ult would be amazing against this team because remember, Bard ults in a big circle. What does the Seraphine Graves team do? Well, it clumps up in a big circle. So Bard would be just absolutely awesome against this team. But no, I can't seem to find a Bard here. I went level 9, did not find the Bard. I mean, look how close this fight is. Soraka gets off another ult. Unfortunately, she wastes the ult on the target dummy. Soraka, no! Oh, man, we almost win this round, though. Look how close this is. Do you think we could have won that? I think if we have Bard in, we actually win that because we would have had Mystic trade in. Yeah, so like I said, just a little bit unlucky there. I really do think if we'd found Bard, we would have won that round. Anyway, here I'm going to go ahead and find a Dragon's Cloak, which is a decent item. I guess I'll just put that on the Silas. Well, I guess I can't because I have the... I already have an item. I already have that chain vest on him, but I would love to get that item on him if possible. Well, we are going to stage 7. I can probably take one more loss here on stage 7. I'm hoping that I can outlast the person on 3 HP. And, you know, maybe if I get lucky, maybe if I hit 2-star Bard, that would be enough to swing this. I also would play the Yasuo as well. Oh, looky here, we've actually got an item remover, so I can go ahead and put this on. I can item remover that Chain Vest off of the Silas, and then look to put this Dragon's Cloak on him. But mostly I'm just looking for Bard. Bard is the unit I want. Bard is going to give me, like I said, going to give me all that extra magic resistance, which does make a big deal. By the way, look how long it takes to kill this. And that's because the Dragon's Cloak causes that unit to regenerate health. All right, there's a Yasuo. I will play the Yasuo over the Zoe. And there's no Bard here. Okay, well, that's not what we're looking for. Come on, Bard? Bard? By the way, look at all the Shi Oh Yus here. All those Shi Oh Yus. Womp womp. Regrets. I have so many regrets. Anyway, so yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Obviously, I'm not going to hit 3-star. Not going to hit the 3-star units now. So we're going to look to position here. I am up against the, what is it, the Astral board, I believe, is the other player here in the lobby. Yeah, the Astral board here. So again, I'm hoping I can get into the back lines here. Unfortunately, I did not position quite as well for this round as I did the last time. Remember how last time I had Lux casting at the targeting dummy? Also, Soraka's wasting her ult on the target dummy. A little bit unfortunate. At least Soraka is generating some mana here as she gets hit by the enemy team, but it's just a little bit too much damage. I'm not able to keep my tanks alive this time, so I'm going to lose this round, and oh, I go down to 3 HP. Wow, good thing Soraka healed me in this fight. I would have been dead except that Soraka healed me for 3 HP. But hey, this lobby is still close, and you know, oh, by the way, more Shi Oh Yus, Jesus. And I'm going to roll all the way down, and man, I still cannot find a Bard. Jeez, if only I could find this freaking Bard. The good news is, if I can just outlast one of these other two players, if the other person on 3 HP gets knocked out, then I probably can at least get a second place here. I'm still hoping that maybe I can win this round. I do have Yasuo on my board now. This other team has not gotten that much stronger. So Yasuo, get in there and get off a great ult. Knock everybody on the enemy team up. But oh, look at this. They've actually decided to play their Graves up on the front line. I'm sure that they're playing Graves up on the front lines because this is a ghost round. This is a ghost round for me. They are playing up against they're playing up against the other person. So they probably have Graves on the front line for that reason. But if I can kill Graves, I might actually be able to win this round. Come on, let's get that Graves. Yeah, down he goes. As soon as Graves is dead, I win this round because there's no damage on this board. Yes, it's a 3-star Seraphine, but it's Graves who does all the damage in this team composition. So yeah, we're looking pretty good here. We're going to win this round. Oh, the other player's out of the lobby, so I've got at least a second place finish. And if I can beat this person this round, maybe I can beat them again. So, all right, it looks like it's going to come down to one last round between me and the Seraphine Graves person. So if I can just find a Bard, can we get Bard? Oh, there he is, finally. Finally, I'm going to get the Bard. All right, I got the Mystic trait in. I'm going to get the Bard CC. I think I've got a shot at this. I actually think I can beat this player. Oh, he just made Graves 3-star. Well, that is disappointing. That is very disappointing. But to be fair, it is 7-3. So again, the difference between playing for a 3-star unit, not playing for a 3-star unit. This person played for 3-star Graves, and the game lasted long enough for them to get there. I have played 3-star Graves. I've had the 3-star Seraphine and the 3-star Graves before in this comp. It is quite strong. It is definitely stronger than anything I have. So yeah, not going to win this one. There's no miracle finish coming here. But hey, I was able to last all the way to 7-3. I played my wacky 6 Bruiser board. I got the pass XP. This is still a very successful game, so I will take it. Little disappointed in the way that I didn't go for the Shi Oh Yu 3-star, but it was still an entertaining game nonetheless. What you saw here was, again, me playing for a top 4 finish. I tried to maximize the odds of going for a top 4. And hey, I mean, it did work out. I got a second place. That's not bad. But you can see someone who actually stuck around and tried to go for the 3-star units was able to win the lobby eventually. Now, granted, they won the lobby on 6 HP or whatever, so it was close, but they did ultimately end up winning. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a great week. Take care.